Good evening, everyone. It's 7 p.m. We're going to begin the special meeting. We'll begin with the roll call of councillors.
Thank you. I'd like to conduct the roll call for Richmond County Municipal Council Special Council meeting Monday, April 10, 2017. District 1, Councillor James Gash.
Present.
District 2, Councillor Alvin Martel.
Present.
District 3, Warden Brian Marchand.
Present.
District 4, Councillor Gilbert Boucher.
Present.
District 5, Deputy Warden Jason McLean.
Present.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 3 is tender recommendation. This has to do with the Louisdale Levinson Whiteside water treatment plant for the equipment supply. And Maris will talk a bit about that.
Thank you. What I'd like to present to council is 2 reports, one from Chris Boudreau, our Director of Public Works and Engineering, and the report from Dillon Consulting, who also analyzed the bids. In January, we went out to tender for the supply of a new package water treatment plant for the Louisdale Evanston Whiteside water distribution system. The tender closed in mid-February, and there were 3 bidders. They being Filtronics Incorporated, Hungerford and Thierry Inc., and JK Engineering Limited. The amounts are included in your package. The bidders were evaluated in accordance to the following criteria: capital cost, suitability of equipment and required footprint, complexity and operational requirements, experience of the manufacturer, supplier, and local support, and operating and maintenance costs. The lowest bid was JK Engineering Limited for a total amount of $670,000, and that's an amended amount. The JK Engineering excluded a number of items that were required for the operation of the plant, which included exterior tankage, chlorine residual analyzers, and distribution systems. These are estimated to cost in the range of $100,000 to $150,000, and an average of $125,000 was applied to the bid price. JK Engineering Limited, even though they were the lowest price, their proposal was for an alternative treatment system and scored considerably lower than both Filtronics and H&T offerings, due primarily to a number of issues. And those issues I've identified in the engineering report on this matter. Because we will not be awarding the tender to the lowest bid, we do need a motion of council for the clean water agreement that we would have. So if there's any particular questions, I'd be prepared to answer them if there are any.
Are there any questions from council? Councillor Gayesh?
Yes, Mayor, the project is states here is currently fully funded. How is it fully funded? What does CWWF funding is that?
The funding is broken up, Councillor Gayesh. The CWWF is the Clean Wastewater Funding. That's what we receive from the federal government, and that's listed at $2.15 million. And the remaining 25% is coming out of a depreciation reserve that's in the water utility.
Okay. So that means that the water, the utility itself is paying for the remainder.
Correct.
Okay.
And that depreciation reserve is money that's put in there for depreciation on capital assets.
Okay.
But with URB approval, we're able to use that for capital projects.
Okay. How much did it cost for the Dillon report, engineering study?
It's a tough question because there's probably been 2 or 3 of them. I'm going to say back in 2010, we spent $45,000 on getting these 2 companies to come down. 2009, there was a report done that cost us $25,000. Are you meaning this report? This, maybe Maris can answer that.
My
This
reasoning
last
for the
one.
question is, the memo goes to Maris Freemanus, provincial engineer, from Chris Boudreau, provincial engineer. And then we hire a consulting firm, Dillon, to do an engineering study. What's the reason for Dillon to be involved? They're an engineering firm, just the same as, they're provincial engineers, the same as Maris is and Chris Boudreau that we hired as a provincial engineer. And then we get another firm to do the engineering study. I just want to know the reasoning behind it, that's all.
Well, typically, we have an engineer on staff, and he's the county engineer. He's also our director of public works. I am a professional engineer as well, but I am your CAO. Typically, we would engage outside engineering firms to do the detailed engineering design for items of this nature. So typically, that's outside the scope of both our jobs, and it's a normal practice to engage professional firms in the design of treatment facilities, if you will.
So you're telling me we're not qualified, the engineers that we have at present aren't qualified to do this type of work?
No, I'm not saying that we're not qualified. I'm saying that that's not part of our job responsibilities.
Councillor Goyesh, I'm with you on this.
No, the Director of Public Works seems to me that this is a Director of Public Works project, and when you say he's not qualified, he's a provincial engineer, and if we got to continue engaging outside firms to do a work that we are capable of doing ourselves, I find it's a waste of money.
Cancel yours. Cancel yours. Okay, hit yours again. Just leave it on. Okay. Did you want to answer that?
No.
Oh, I thought you wanted to answer. Sorry. Okay. Councillor Martel, you had a question as well. Councillor Goyesh, or Boucher?
Thank you, Warden Marchand. I think I'm in the same boat as Councillor Goyesh. I'd like to know if our Public Works Director is hired as an engineer or is just a Public Works Director. Could you answer that for me?
You're on.
The Public Works Director and County Engineer are hired to do that particular purpose. When we talk about specialized design, we are talking about something completely different. We're talking about the development of very specialized specifications, drawings, and analysis of shop drawings, and that type of thing. Certainly, if our Director of Public Works, if that was the only thing for him to do, then that would be probably within his capability to do. However, we hire him to do, public works direction. Certainly, engineering matters of simple nature that can be readily handled in quickly are handled by him. This particular project is a complex project, and it requires quite a lot of time to do. So typically, without a full engineering staff and drafts people, this would be sourced outside.
Hold a second. Councillor Martel, can you cancel your mic out? Okay, Councillor
Yeah,
Boucher?
I understand that, Mayor, but I think, like James says, this gets out of hand. I understand this is a bigger project, and certainly we have to have some expertise in that field, and we don't want to tie up the Public Works Director. But when you have 400 feet of piping going in the ground, and you send out for an engineering study or an engineering drawing, I think that's, that should be handled in-house. And I certainly agree with James. There's a lot of things I think we should be handling in-house instead of going out and spending a lot of money. Thank you, that's all I have to say.
And thank you. I certainly appreciate your comments, and I mean, I can't speak to the procedures of the municipality in the past. Certainly, I can look forward to an appropriate direction and an allocation of staff as we move forward. But I certainly don't, I can't comment on what happened here last year or the year before.
Councillor Gayesh, was your question in relation to the fact that Dylan gave us a report on these three estimates? Is that what you were, because Dylan was, Councillor Martel, can you cancel again? Dylan was initially involved with the design of the plant. So, but I think the question that you guys are asking is, and not to put words in your mouth, but is it the question of whether or not we should have had Dylan reviewing these tenders? Because there was a cost for that, and I think you were asking the question of that cost, not...
Well, I think that's where it comes from. I think we're engaging in consulting firms where the work should be done in-house, like Councilor Boucher stated. And I know sometimes there are complex issues that do arise, whereby you need the expertise from outside engineering firms or outside firms. As far as drafts people, I thought we had a draft person that we have hired in the building already. I don't know if I'm wrong in saying this, but there's somebody sitting in the office, and I think he's a draft person, isn't he? For Public Works Department? Jason McMillan, isn't he?
But he doesn't do that, right? No.
No, my biggest concern, Mr. Warden, is that why do we keep on spending money on engineering studies and studies and studies? And I know that this tender process, once the review is done, and I think we have engaged this firm to go over the tenders. Actually, they're the ones making the report, and I think we have qualified individuals within Richmond County that can review the tendering process. Because we know exactly what we're looking for when we're tendering, unless we wouldn't be tendering. So as soon as it comes in, I'm sure that the engineer within the office is capable of determining whether or not this is what we want, and then move forward.
Okay.
But to engage in an engineering firm to do this, to me, is a waste of
Yeah. Do we have a price?
resources.
Do we have a price on this?
I don't have the total price, but typically fees for service include the design of the total project, and the service that was provided is part of the fee structure for doing design and analysis and construction supervision. So I will supply the costs for Dillon Construction or Dillon Engineering when that becomes available to me.
And sometimes normally we use gas tax money for some of these kind of costs, but this will probably be put in the project.
This will be put into the,
Okay.
this is an eligible expense to the Clean Water Wastewater Fund.
Okay. Councillor Martel?
I guess on the topic of doing some in-house stuff, I guess it makes a lot of sense, what Councillor Boucher is saying, Councillor Gayesh, if there is a possibility, and we haven't done that in the past. I mean, we've always tendered outside for different things, and I think that maybe we need to start to look closer at what we can do within before going outside. But I mean, there are times that you have no choice. Sometimes if you ask for government assistance from outside, the federal, provincial government, they're required that you have an outside firm and consultants, and they have a list that they give you. In order to get that money, you have to hire those people. If you don't get the money. So at this time, I would like to make a motion to accept the recommendation of the CAO and to award the tender to Victronics, Inc.
Okay, and that's the motion for that three train option, which is the last page 3 of the Dillon report.
Yeah.
Second last page. Councillor Martel?
Yeah.
Okay. There's been a motion made to accept the recommendation of the CAO and select Viltronics Incorporate with the 3 train option for the supply of the packaged water treatment equipment for this project. And it's been seconded by Councillor Boucher. On discussion. Question's been called. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Motion carried. I'll accept the motion for adjournment. It's been moved by Councillor Martel, seconded by Councillor Boucher. I think we need a motion for that. We'll move into our regular committee of the whole meeting. And we'll call that to order at 7:15. And our item number 2 on the agenda is a gallery presentation from La Picache. And I believe that Yvan, you'll be doing the presentation?
Yep.
Okay, you won't be with them, okay. Come up and hit your mic. Just any of the buttons there, yeah. I'll see it here. Okay, there you go. Okay, you can state your name for the record, Yvan.
I'm Yvan Sampson. I'm the chairperson for La Picasse, Centre culturel communautaire de Petit de Gras, de Comté de Richemont plutôt. The Centre La Picasse was formed in 1991 and is an active registered charitable organization recognized as such by Revenue Canada agency. In 96-97, our organization, along with the municipality of Richmond, the Library of Petit de Gras, Collège de l'Acadie, and the provincial, federal, and community contributions, constructed the multifunctional center situated in Petit de Gras. Our organization operates with an annual budget, excluding projects, of approximately $368,500 for the infrastructure maintenance and French Acadian arts and culture programs. In real terms, 2/3 of our budget, or $235,000 of our expenses, are for building operating costs and maintenance, while our artistic, cultural, and community programs account for about 1/3, or $133,000 of our expenses. As you may be aware, our organization received core funding support in the amount of $10,000 from the municipality to deliver cultural, artistic, and community programming in 2015 and 2016. Last year, we received an amount of $85,000 from Heritage Canada for our artistic and cultural programs. Contrary to public perception that La Picasse is heavily financed by government funds, these government program contributions account for approximately 25.7% of our total budget. The remaining 74.3% of our revenues are raised by office leasing, fundraising, and operational cost recoveries from University Sainte-Anne and the library. You can consult our annual financial statements to fully understand in greater detail how our yearly revenues and expenses are made. During 2016-17 fiscal year, our organization delivered several workshops in acrylic painting on canvas, workshops in traditional arts such as traditional weaving. Activities were organized for seniors such as floor shuffleboard, and weekly activities for various senior-friendly games and board games. For children 6 years and older, we organize arts and cultural activities such as les Mardis de la Picasse, gardening, sewing, and workshops, etc. We also deliver a literacy program called from the Family Literacy Initiative Endowment Fund called Publieux for families and children in primary grades to enhance their reading and writing skills in French. We also offered professional concerts in our venue with artists such as Lenny Galland, Sai and his group, Ronald Bourgeois, excuse me, and Peter Christine Benoit. Presentations with Gabriel Leblanc on his newly published book, Mon Île Madame, the new films produced by Phil Common on Zachary Richard, Toujours Batailleur, and Belle-et-la-Mer were also part of our program in 2016-2017. During the month of March of every year, La Picasse presents a complete program of over 25 activities for all ages to celebrate the Rendezvous de la Francophonie, an annual international event. We have submitted a financial request for 2017-2018 to the municipality of the County of Richmond, with the hope that the municipality will continue to provide this financial support to the only French-Acadian artistic and cultural venue in Richmond County. We have delivered artistic and cultural programs that we believe will be well received during the year, starting in April with a dance and music concert, along with a professional concert in May when country artist Laurie LeBlanc, an Acadian from New Brunswick, who received on November 19, 2016, 2 prestigious prizes as Album of the Year and Singer-Songwriter of the Year during the Canadian Francophone Country Gala at the Casino in Montreal. Special multicultural activities to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Canadian Confederation is on the agenda through the year. A very special program is under preparation to celebrate the Acadian National Day, August 15th, and also La Picasse celebrates its 20th anniversary of operations this year in 2017. Again, special activities will take place under that theme. Furthermore, on a sustainable development level, La Picasse is looking for ways to reduce its carbon footprint, CO2, and consequently its electrical and heating costs. To this end, we have submitted financial requests to various government bodies, including the Municipality of Richmond, to provide financial support for this costly switch to reduce our fossil fuel consumption. This will be done by installing 150 solar panels on the roof of La Picasse, among other initiatives in future years. This project is expected to cost over $130,000. We are doing so within our financial capability limitations. We would appreciate any support that the Municipality of Richmond can provide to this environmental initiative starting in 2017-2018. I will endeavor to respond to any questions you may have on this presentation or any other questions that you may deem that I am capable of answering on behalf of La Picasse.
Yvonne, I have a couple of questions. The financial support given by the municipality, has it been 10,000 for both years, or was it 10 and 15?
10,000 for both years.
10 for both years. Are you asking for us to continue that and as well help you with the installation of the solar panels?
Yes,
two
it's
separate?
approximately $15,000 in the infrastructure fund from the municipality.
So we're going to be restructuring how we do our grants. We'll still have the council infrastructure grants and activity grants. We'll have a different pool, and we haven't decided that structure yet. So I guess it's going to be 2 different applications here. There's going to be one
Yes,
for the,
in
okay.
fact, yeah.
Okay, that's my questions for now. Councillor Gayash?
Yvan, I would like for you probably to explain briefly the investment fund recently announced. I think it's something new and misunderstood by the public. I think it's a difficult, it's a different type of fund, so I think it's misunderstood by the public what exactly it is.
Okay, essentially it's an endowment fund, which means that we do not have any control on the fund. The fund is given to the Community Foundation of Nova Scotia. The 2 contributors, which was the Government of Nova Scotia and the Mouse Island Marine Center Association, pooled their funds to invest, to ensure that the Community Foundation of Nova Scotia can invest, and the interest payments, if there are any, in other words, the interest coming from that fund, would be given to La Picasse on a yearly basis, starting in 2018, probably in May or June, something like that. So in fact, we have no control. It's not our money. It's the money that belongs to this Community Foundation of Nova Scotia.
Yvonne, is that the one the announcement that was for $250,000 from each group?
Yep.
And what involvement does Mouse Island have with La Picasse? Is this another,
Mouse Island has one of its objects is to support the French language in the community, and they felt this was the way for them to contribute in that sense. So basically what they did is they teamed up with the provincial government to double the fund that they had and invested it to the Community Foundation of Nova Scotia.
and my understanding that you're looking for some extra federal funding to put into this pool? Is that what I read in your article?
Well, I'm looking.
Okay.
Eventually, we hope to arrive at 1 million now. If it happens, Tom, years like we say, if it doesn't, well, we at least have a $500,000 in there to help us.
Can you make me understand a little more about this Mouse Island group? What is it?
Mouse Island Group was started in 2002, and basically what they do is try to develop the port of Pinet de Gras, and they have a travel lift on Mouse Island Marine Center lands, if you, where Sanchez
Okay, I saw
Enterprises
that,
are.
yes, okay.
Yeah. So they lease the land, and they lease the travel lift that goes up and
Okay.
down.
Yeah.
And that's how they were able to get that money.
Okay, so is it kind of a CEDF, or is it, what is it? It's just
Not
a group
involved.
of
It's a
investors? Okay.
Non-profit association that started that.
Okay, any more questions?
You want to know where it is?
Yeah.
It's in Bouterville.
It's an island.
No, Mouse Island used to be an island. What happened, it was
Councillor Gaillard?
at the point. Yeah.
Councillor Gaillard? Councillor
Yeah,
Boucher?
It's,
Your
at the
mic,
point,
Councillor, just
it's
so,
located there. It was.
just your mic so people can hear. Okay,
I just wanted, because I didn't see it on any of my charts.
okay. Any more questions? So I guess we'll need a motion to move to budget deliberations, the request, I guess, the one request of 10,000. And the other request will just, you'll have to speak to the councillors. And,
I don't
Councilor
think it's
Martel?
necessary to make a motion. The both grants have got policies, so they'll be applying through the grant process, so we don't need a motion to.
well, not both through the grant.
Well, one of them is core community, there's a policy and application process, and so is infrastructure, so we don't need a motion to table just to budget.
But it's going to change.
Well, yeah,
Core
but it didn't change
community
yet,
will
so
change.
that's the process. When we do budget, then we'll look at, and if it changes, then it changes, but we don't
Yeah.
need a motion to move with the budget. Aye?
I'd like to make sure in order to protect the Picasso or any organization that we do move into budget
Yeah.
deliberation in case
I think the one grant for sure, the core community,
involved.
do you think it needs to?
Pardon?
We need to move it to budget.
Not really.
The infrastructure one, we don't. Well, we'll move it to budget deliberations anyway. We won't be making a decision tonight.
Just in case.
So, do we need a motion or not? No, maybe not.
I don't think so.
Motion was made by Councillor Gaillard, seconded by Councillor Boucher. On discussion, question's been called. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Motion carried. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 3 is a review of the minutes from March 13, 2017. Is there any questions or errors or omissions? We'll need a motion to approve those minutes. It's been moved by Councillor Boucher, been seconded by Deputy Warden McLean. On discussion? Question's been called. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Motion carried. On to number 4 on the agenda is items added. We've had one item added today in your package, and that was a grant for the Riverdale Community Services Society, and I'd like to have that moved to item 5B. We'll approve that. Is there any other items to be added by unanimous consent? Councillor Gaillard?
Yes, I have two. I'd like to add the structural review as part of one of the items added. And also the second part would be the CAO. That's a contract being up in June. And I think we have to discuss these under item Z.
Everybody okay with that? Okay, we'll add those two items. Need a motion. There's no other items to be added. We'll need a motion to approve the agenda with the items added.
So,
It's been moved by Councillor Boucher, seconded by Councillor Gayash. On discussion? Question has been called. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Motion carried. On to item 5, correspondence. Under item A, we have action required from Smoke Free Nova Scotia. Reading that, or you want me to? What they want us to do is approve a motion, resolution. Want to read it or me? Okay. The motion, you'll see it's on the third page, I believe, of the document, and it starts, whereas tobacco is the number one cause of preventable disease and death in Canada, killing 37,000 people every year, whereas the tobacco industry uses any means at its disposal to make its deadly products more attractive, whereas packaging has become the most important promotional vehicle for the tobacco industry, whereas Australia, France, and the United Kingdom have all passed laws requiring plain and standardized packaging for tobacco products, and many others have announced their intention to follow suit. Be it resolved, the municipality of the County of Richmond supports regulations for plain and standardized packaging in Canada, as outlined as follows. Plain and standardized packaging would prohibit all promotional features on all tobacco packaging, including the use of colors, images, logos, slogans, distinctive fonts, and finishes. Only the brand name would be allowed, and it will also be subject to restrictions. Health warnings would remain on packages. The size and shape of the package would be standardized, thus prohibiting specialty packaging formats such as slim and super slim cigarette packages that reduce warning size and overtly, target women. The appearance of cigarettes would also be standardized as a minimum, prohibiting the use of branding, logos, colors, and special finishes, and establishing standards for cigarette length and diameter. We have a motion to accept that.
yes, I will move to accept it. I'm not concerned about the packaging. I'm concerned about what's inside. But I'll move it.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Gayash, and it's been seconded by Deputy Warden McLean to accept the recommendation from Smoke Free Nova Scotia. On discussion? Question's been called. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Motion carried. Moving on to item 5B is a list of the grants, and we'll have the one that was added this evening. I also want to mention there'll be one grant that will be removed, I believe. Okay. Councillor Boucher?
Thank you, Warden Marshall. The grant requested by the Richmond County Inshore Fishermen's Association, I will probably explain that to you. That grant is for the fishing derby for the young kids in Capel Around. Every year that was held, used to be put on by DEMA, I believe. They quit it a couple of years ago, so the Richmond Inshore Fishermen's Association took it over as a favor for the local children in the area to do a little bit of fishing and some recreation. I would like to ask council, as I'm probably in the conflict now as the president of the Richmond County Inshore Fishermen's Association, and I've had them apply for the grant, but since it's come to my attention, and by rights it was well brought up, that I would like to ask all councillors if they donate $100 out of their infrastructure money for this grant, because it's no monetary gain for anybody. The grant is there for the kids to enjoy a little bit of fishing in the Derby. And the Richmond County Inshore Fishermen's Association is all volunteers for that function. So if all councilors would give $100 out of their activity fund, we would have it, enough funding to help them out. Thank you.
Councillor Martel?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Do we do it tonight, or do we redirect a grant from
Yeah.
somebody else that applies to it, so it makes it according to the policy?
Yeah,
And
I
then-
guess, I just want to ask, what's the date of this event? It's not listed here.
Up in the first week of May.
Okay, so we still have time then to
Yeah.
get it for the
because
for
we
the
don't-
regular council.
Redirect it. yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
So that's what we'll do. We'll get a grant written up. Deputy Warden?
Just, I think for clarification, part of the grant application that I read did mention, I think, the Grand Lake Fishing Derby. So I believe there's two, right? There's one in Grand Lake sometime in May, and then there's the other one that used to have for the children in Major's Pond. So I just want to make sure that we have whatever one that we're,
They happen together, I think.
yeah, it's written in, I think, but we can change that or whatever for the next application, just to make sure that it's going to the place that you want it to go to, yeah.
So whoever's writing the grant up or requesting, they can get in touch with the administrator of the Richmond County Inshore Fishermen's Association,
Okay. And that would be Christine?
Christina Babbitt.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll remove that grant, and I'm going to read the remaining grants. There's one from, just want to make sure. Okay, there's one from the St. Peter's Community Club, CEO St. Peter's Private Festival Committee, Municipal District Activity District 4 for $1,000. The River Bourgeois Mariner Society Municipal District Activity Fund District 4 for $449.77. The Sacred Heart Ladies Group Municipal District Activity Fund District 5 for $300. And the Lordways Acadian Festival Committee, CO Lordways Parish Council, Municipal District Activity Fund District 5 for $1,000. The West Arishatin District Village Circle Society Municipal District Infrastructure Fund District 2 for $15,000. And I just kind of misplaced. The last one is from the the Riverdale Community Services Municipal District Activity Fund District 3 for $500. That's the one that was added in the email packages. So I'd like a motion to approve them all. It's been moved by Councillor Martel and seconded by Councillor Gayesh. On discussion.
That's why I added this thing under structural review. Some of these grants, I don't have a problem with some of them, and I think there's some good projects there underway, and I think it's time that councilors decide. I don't like the idea of individual councilors going out and deciding on the grant structure. But I know the core funding, I think there is a financial obligation for the organization or society to provide bank statements, isn't there? But this infrastructure and the activity fund, we could have an organization or a society or whatever that has the financial ability to perform the duties that they want or any kind of activity, and still they come to the municipal government for financial assistance. And I'm not saying these projects aren't good, but if you have the financial ability to provide these projects or go ahead with these projects, I don't believe you should come to municipal government. That's taxpayers' dollars we're dealing with. I'm not comfortable with this infrastructure and activity fund. I never was. But I will support this effort. But it's like I mentioned, the structural review, it's time that we really look at this grants. And I don't know what GMGA, I know it used to be, according to the MGA Act, that there was a percentage that you were allowed to give based on the budget of the municipal government. And I think it used to be in the tune of 4%. Maybe that did change. Maybe it changed now, and I don't know. But I think we're gone to a point right now that we're giving grants, and it's exceeding beyond the affordability of the municipal government. And I don't like the aspect, and I think a lot of associations, organizations are utilizing the municipal government as a bank, and I don't think we are. We have a responsibility to our taxpayers. We are elected to take care of these funds, take care of taxpayers' dollars. I think we have to be careful. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Any more comments? Councillor Gayash, I agree with you for sure on many of those topics. Any more discussion? Question's been called. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Motion carried. I guess we're on to, there's been a list of checks as well provided. If there's any questions, just email myself or the CAO. On to items added. Councillor Gayash, you had 2 items.
We had first item, it's for the CAO. Mike is on, isn't it? The first item I have, structural review, I think it's for the CAO. Can you tell us where we're at as far as the structural review of the governance of Richmond County? Is that, or if you could update us on this?
Thank you. We're about 80 to 85% complete now in terms of what we are going to be recommending to council. We're in the kind of final stages in preparing the documents, and those documents will deal with governance issues, they'll deal with organizational issues, they'll speak to approach to grants and how we approach our finances. So I anticipate we're in some very intense meetings with our consultant, and we're preparing those documents. I anticipate that it would be late April, early May. We'll have that before council. I had anticipated earlier than that, but it was a little bit, there was quite a lot of material that we had to really consider to generate a proper recommendation to council. So early May will be before council. I would suggest a very special meeting to deal with that item alone, and we'll be sending out some notifications very shortly.
Councillor Boucher.
Thank you, Warden Mercer. Maris, I'm just wondering, how's our finances going with this, these people we've hired to do this? Are we still on budget at 21,000?
Yes, we are. I think the...
Hold a second. Alvin, can you cancel? Or James? Just leave it on.
Yes, we are. I believe the commitment was for 22,000 in consulting fees and a little bit of travel. We've expensed 18,000 to date, so I think that's fair and reasonable based upon the work that's been performed to date. When we get the final report and we've met with council, then the remaining funds will be dispersed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Councillor Gayash, did you have some questions?
Yes, I have another item added, but I want to comment, when do we get the municipal affairs portion of this expense that we have the consulting? I think this was supposed to be shared or paid for by Department of Municipal Affairs, was my understanding.
Yes, I did submit the application to Municipal Affairs under the projects for capacity building. I followed up with our municipal advisor. She's the municipal affairs supports the application. I haven't received the final confirmation. The cost sharing will be at 50/50.
Is that okay, Councillor Gayash?
Yes.
Okay, you have, any more discussion on that item? You have one more item, Councillor Gayash?
Yes, this is for council, I guess, and you, Mr. Warden, is that the CEO, the contract, as we know, is up in June. It was on a 6-month term, wasn't it, I think?
Correct.
So we're coming close. This is April already. Have we made any steps or any indication that we're going to advertise for CAO?
No, we haven't. I kind of spoke with Maris about that, and I guess that's a decision we should all make. I'd like Maris to stay for quite a bit longer. There's quite a bit of work to do. Maris has done quite a bit of work to date, so I think to bring somebody new, just in reviewing our finances and doing the budgeting, I think is going to put us back. So I'd like him to stay for as long as he'd like.
I don't disagree with you. I don't find that's a problem, but the problem I do find, this should be taken before councilors. I mean, this has to be discussed in front of the council and not necessarily a public meeting. But we have to sit down as a council and discuss this.
I had to ask him first.
Well, I think you can ask him in the presence of the 5 councilors when we do meet as a group.
Okay.
And I think these are not the way we're supposed to proceed. If the contract is up and if Maris, there's an obligation, if we do decide to advertise, he has the same right as anybody else in Richmond County or whatever the case may be to apply for the position. But this has to be a decision that's decided by council and nobody else.
Okay, Maris wants to say something.
Just to, we all recognize that my contract is up at June 30th of this year. Obviously, we've done a lot of work. There's work left to be done. The continuation of my tenure for whatever period of time is a discussion with council, and it's an in-camera discussion. Certainly, our structural review will have implementation plan, and there'll be a discussion with regards to how we proceed, and that'll be up to council to make that decision. So I anticipate that, again, we would be before council early May, and then council makes its decision, whatever that may be, and then that gives us ample time to do whatever we need to do.
Is that okay, Councillor Gayas? Councillor Boucher, I believe you.
Thank you, Warden Mershon. I certainly agree with Councillor Gayash, and I also agree with our CAO. We hired him with a mandate to do a certain job here, and I think he's doing an excellent job. And it's going to be our decision to make to whether we keep him here or we advertise. And right now, I think the motion or the move is to keep him for as long as we need him, if he's willing to stay with us for a while. So after saying that, I think we'd certainly sit down around the table and we'd look at what kind of a contract we're going to give him or what kind of a contract he needs from us. So, and it's, and I'll tell him right to his face, he's doing a good job. That's what he's here for. Thank you.
Pass him the money after for that. Deputy Warden?
Agreed with everything that was said, and I do know that, like Councillor Boucher said, one of the biggest things that was on Maris's plate as coming in as a CAO was the internal review, structural review, and not that I'm foreseeing any issues with that, but I think it's in fairness to the process. Once we get to see the end result and the recommendation from Maris as the CAO with the internal review, shortly after that, council gets together so that we can, share our thoughts with one another and see whatever direction we want to move in with regards to that. So I guess what I'm saying is that once the internal review has been put out there and we all get a chance to basically see what it entails, that's when we get together as a council and try to figure out whatever direction we want to move in from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. I mean, in fairness to Maris, there's been a lot of extra work thrown on Maris, two of those taking a lot of his time, one of those being the tourism project, and another one being the issue, I guess, with the Wrens. We've had some meetings about that, so that hasn't taken as much time, but the tourism project, most definitely, with all the meetings and documents to look over, took more time than we anticipated, so maybe it's set back the review. But yeah, in early May, Councillor Gayesh, we'll have those discussions amongst ourselves where we're going from here. That's okay? Okay, moving on to item 7, the 15-minute question period. Is there anybody from the audience that has questions? Okay, there you go. State your name.
Benjamin Murray from Mustarashat. What I'd like to know, is there a problem in having all the mics on at the same time?
Can't say yes and can't say no.
What I'm getting at is when the meeting is on tele.
Yeah.
Like tonight, Councillor Boucher was talking and he didn't have his mic on.
Yeah.
Now, so when it's going to be on tele, people are not going to hear him.
Yeah, and we're trying our best to have the mics on and talk in them, and I think it's been better overall.
Yeah, it wasn't bad
yeah.
tonight, but
Yeah.
there was a couple of times it was on.
Well-
Last month, I watched the meeting last week, and I had to put my TV wide open to hear what was being said. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't, and with that, I had to really pay attention to it. I mean, if the people wants to hear the meeting.
Yeah.
Some of them, they probably can't make the meeting here,
Yeah, no,
so
I
they'd
agree.
like to watch it on TV.
And we were looking at getting a new mic system, a headset, and we haven't purchased that yet, but in trying to get councillors, I guess, to speak into the mic, that seems to be a bit of a help, but we'll have to put Councillor Boucher in the corner again tonight.
Yeah.
Punish him. You should put your mic on again. There you go. See? He doesn't listen well.
Yeah. Another thing, I'd like to talk on the remark that was made last month on the 15-minute question period. Now, one of you guys, I'm not going to mention the name, but you probably know who it is, complained about it, that it was a 15-minute, not a 2-hour. Now, I've never seen or I've never heard anybody that came up that took 2 hours to say what they had to say. Some nights, sure, I understand we have 15 minutes to talk, but there's a lot of people that doesn't take the 15 minutes. Some might take a little bit more, but I can't see why they should complain about it. You look tonight, maybe that's the reason why there's nobody here tonight, of what was the remark that was made last month. And I think that it was a poor gesture of that person. He shouldn't have brought that up, made that remark.
It's not 15 minutes per person, it's 15 minutes of a question period. But I have no issue with letting people go over that, because, I mean, there's been a lot of issues in the last year.
Yeah, because the one that was up at the time,
Yeah.
he was bringing up what had been going on during the meeting.
Yeah.
And he was cut off. And I think he got up, and that's why he left. I think he would have been here a little longer and talked about what he had to say. But I think he was thrown out. That's the way I looked at it. And I think that you should give the people a chance to say what they have to say. That's why we come to the meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, we come to the meeting, we listen to you guys. You're sitting there, we're sitting there for about 2 hours. We don't complain. We listen to you guys.
Yeah.
And I think you should do the same thing. Give us a chance to say what we have to say.
And I think overall, Ben, this new council has wanted to give people the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, and that's the way it should
ask
be.
whatever, yeah. So we'll try to correct those issues and hope
Okay.
they don't happen again.
Thank you very much.
Is there anybody else that wants to come up? Going once, going twice. Okay, we'll call for adjournment. There's no camera tonight. There's no camera. Okay, no. Well, we should have maybe put if necessary. We forgot that part. Okay, it's been a motion. Yeah, we need a picture. What's that? That's right. I just want to state, it's been a motion to adjourn, but I want to state a couple of things for the viewers. Our expenses going back to January 1st are online now, so there's a link on our website for people that want to look at that. If you have any further questions, just call Yvonne, and she'll give you the information by email or hard copy, whatever you wish. And at the end of the meeting, we're all going to take a picture. So I want all the councillors to stay here. Okay, it's been a motion to adjourn. Is there a seconder? And second it. No discussion. Question has been called. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Okay, adjourn.